History has a strange way of repeating itself. One of its most alarming patterns? Societies slipping into destruction when ruled by fear. Time and again, we see how fear seeps into the heart of communities, twisting perceptions and creating division. Fear, when weaponized, becomes one of the most powerful tools of control. It doesn't just create uncertainty, it rewires how we think, making us question our own instincts and accept the unacceptable. It silences voices, not always with force, but often with doubt, shame, and the overwhelming pressure to conform. But history also teaches us something just as powerful. Art and creativity provide an escape, a parallel path that leads to freedom. It disrupts the cycle of control by encouraging new ways of thinking, helping people question, imagine, and ultimately resist. Art provides a separate road, one that fear cannot fully grasp. When fear takes control, what's the first thing it silences? Books, music, films, art. These aren't coincidences, they're calculated moves. Take Nazi Germany, for example. The regime burned books, ideas that challenged their rule. In the Soviet Union, subversive art was banned. Even today, censorship erases dissenting voices. Why? Because art fuels imagination. It sparks independent thought. It builds connection. And when people start imagining a different world, they become harder to control. Art happens because we create it, not because it's allowed. The act of making something that challenges, expresses, or dreams is itself resistance. Consider the Harlem Renaissance. Black artists, musicians, and writers redefined identity and challenged oppression through their work. Even graffiti, once dismissed as vandalism, became a way for marginalized communities to say, "We exist." Artists like Keith Haring used their work to fight for equality and awareness. To understand why creativity is so powerful, we need to look at how fear works. Fear locks our brains into survival mode. It narrows our thinking, isolates us, and makes us obedient. Art, however, activates the part of our brain that encourages curiosity, problem-solving, and emotional regulation. When we engage in creativity, we train our brains to think beyond limitations, to make connections others don't see, and to embrace uncertainty rather than be paralyzed by it. The more we create, the more we loosen fear's grip. Instead of reacting, we start questioning. Instead of accepting, we start imagining alternatives. Creativity doesn't just help us resist control, it helps us reclaim it. This is why oppressive regimes fear artists. It's why totalitarian states burn books, censor films, and silence musicians. Art awakens something in us that control systems would rather keep dormant, the ability to see beyond what we are told. Consider how enslaved people in the United States used coded songs, spirituals that carried hidden messages about escape routes on the Underground Railroad, or how Soviet artists, despite censorship, embedded subversive ideas into their paintings, literature, and music. Even something as simple as satire, a political cartoon, can shake the foundations of power by making people see the absurdity of their reality. This is why making art, any art, isn't just a personal act. It's a radical one. Every creation that challenges the narrative of fear is a crack in the system that seeks to control. And when enough cracks form, the whole thing starts to fall apart. The world can be a lot, loud, chaotic, and full of forces telling you what to think and feel. But every time you create, you carve out space that fear can't reach. Fear thrives on silence. Creativity breaks it. So pick up your tools, tune out the noise, and make something real. The parallel path starts with you.